Hey everyone, welcome to the Ground Up Podcast, coming to you from the Level Wellness Studio inside B2 Wellness Suites here in Brentwood, Tennessee. The show that turns pain into pivot and gives you the confidence to build your business. I am your host, Terry Barga, and I am joined today with Vanessa Hampton, and Roy is playing hockey.
Hockey. Maybe he's doing both.
We don't know. And today we're joined with our special guest, Ashlee Meier.
Well, hello. I'm so glad to be here.
I got the name right.
You did.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
I worry about this so much, and I feel like I'm batting 90.
Unfortunate that you don't have a board that you could write it on.
You'd be quiet about that board.
Well, writing it might mess you up because it's a funny spelling and it throws people off anyway. So better that you had it in your head.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, just brushing over my problems over here. So
we've all got them.
Yeah. Ashlee, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I started a company called Champion of Joy, which is a reflection of what I want my life to be. But I am focused on auctioneering and fundraising, event consulting for nonprofit and benefit events.
Man, there's so much to unpack.
There's so much.
It's a lot going on.
Because we're in that nonprofit space a little bit ourselves. Yeah, I want to talk about that. I didn't know that part.
Yes.
I've been pleasantly in the dark.
Yeah.
Surprise.
I put myself in the dark.
Welcome to the light, Terry.
Yeah. It's nice to be here. Thank you. So we like to get a little bit of context, and words elude me on Fridays. When you were a little girl, you said, I want to be an auctioneer?
No, that is not what happened. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
And
kind of the same thing.
It is. And it's interesting. And this is part of my story, is how a lot of different passions in my life have kind of collided. But I grew up wanting to be a performer, dance, sing, act, play guitar, write songs. Did a lot of that where I grew up, kind of inland of San Diego in California. But I spent my summers here in Nashville since I was 5. Okay. My grandparents lived here, and my mom would ship me off when she was working. And I loved it. I I fell in love with Tennessee and the landscape and the people and the pace and, of course, country music. And I said, I think for later chapters in my life, this might be a good place for me to settle down.
Yeah.
So I came here for school. I went to Belmont University and stayed after I graduated because I loved it so much. But while I was at Belmont studying music business, I interned at a couple record labels, and I realized that maybe it was not the industry for me.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
I love to perform, but I am not somebody who wants to say, look at me, I'm more talented, or I should have your attention. And even when I got on campus in the dorms, there were just so many incredibly talented people. I felt very quickly like I was a little bit out of my league.
Yeah.
So I said, let's reroute a little bit. And after a couple of different occupations, I worked for a model and talent agency for quite some time. Loved that. That was kind of my skill set too. Did some digital marketing. And then I started volunteering for the YWCA of Nashville and Middle Tennessee, which I was hugely passionate about because if you're not familiar, they operate the state's largest domestic violence shelter.
Oh, wow.
Which is something I'm super passionate about because I am a survivor of domestic violence.
Oh, dang.
And I'm fortunate because it was at a stage in my life where I was not financially dependent on anyone, and I could leave that relationship safely. But there are a lot of women who are not. And so the services the YW provides are immensely important, and particularly here in Tennessee where violence against women is very prevalent. So I started volunteering, fell in love with the organization, joined their junior board of directors, and then said, you know what? Maybe this is a move I want to make with my life. So I started working with them as the director of volunteer services, and then moved into development. I realized that I loved the event space, mm-hmm. and some of my talent started to shine there. So I stayed there as a director of development for 5 years, and I brought one of their signature events to life alongside the leadership team. And it continues to be now, almost 15 years later, their signature fundraising event, which raises close to $900,000. Wow. At least it did this past year.
That's incredible.
In 4 hours in an afternoon on a Saturday in March.
Wow.
So I loved that role and supporting the mission of the YWCA, but I really found my groove with events.
Yeah.
So fortunately, that introduced me to an opportunity to work for kind of a niche company out of California that has 2 signature fundraising events. And they support nonprofits all across the country with these 2 specific events. So I worked with them for 7.5 years, and I got thrown on stage when an auctioneer didn't show up.
Oh, no.
Or an
that sounds
auctioneer
like a
wasn't
nightmare.
performing. And
Apparently
I
not.
said,
Apparently it's a career path.
well, who would have known, right?
Turns out I'm good at this.
So yeah, it's kind of by necessity. I got on stage and I realized, wow, this is kind of an intersection of the performance that I love, being on stage, plus the skill set that I've gained in fundraising. I earned my CFRE, which is Certified Fundraising Executive, when my daughter was 1 in 2021. And I said, okay, this is kind of a need.
Yeah.
Because as you know, working with nonprofits, and if anybody has attended an event, there are auctions and live appeals that leave you feeling so good about what you've done and wanting to do more and excited to come back or excited to share with your friends what you were a part of. And then there's the ones where you feel awkward and you can't wait to leave, or you leave in the middle, you get up and walk out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Never
okay,
done
you've
that.
never seen that, right? And so it can make or break the success of the event, and
100%.
Therefore what that organization is able to do with those funds. And I
Yeah.
said, well, how can I help do that better for more?
I have so many
I
questions.
know. I love that story.
The first one is, you work for a modeling agency. Do I have what it takes?
At this point
That's
in your
too much
life,
hesitation. Don't answer that. Moving on.
It's really about what you
You set
what
yourself
you wanna do
up
when
for
you
that,
grow up.
Terry.
I know. I definitely did. So being a performer set you up to hop on that stage with all the confidence. Were you terrified at all?
I was nervous, more nervous than getting up to sing or perform,
Yeah.
because this means something different. If you don't raise the funds that an organization needs, that means that maybe a child doesn't have food.
That's a whole nother
It's a
level
lot
of
of
It
pressure.
is. It's a whole different ballpark. And yet I've gotten to the point now where I can be nervous all I want, but you put that microphone in my hand and I get on stage, and it's like I become champion of joy.
I love
it is me.
that.
It's my alter ego.
I love it. I love it. What? Give us the story behind the name.
Sure. So, I feel like I've been through a couple different chapters, and my career path has not been linear, which, it isn't for most people. But for a long time, even when I was trying to figure out what was next, I just felt this resonation within my spirit that my job title should be champion of joy, that is what I'm meant to do here on earth. I'm a positive person. I try to leave every conversation a little bit better than I found it. And people give me a hard time about it. And yet I feel like that is something that sets me apart. And what I can bring to the table in a unique way is leaving people feeling joy-filled, hope-filled, and
Absolutely.
creating fun memories and experiences out of almost anything. And so I also feel like, there's a couple different nuances to it. Joy can sometimes be perceived as naivety, and that, you're just choosing to ignore what's really going on in the world. But my perspective is that joy is courage. And so many of the organizations that I work with, you're dealing with domestic violence survivors, children battling cancer, families with food insecurity. And it is a really challenging spot to be in life.
Yeah.
And yet they can find joy, and we can bring hope by helping provide the funds and resources to impact them. And so when you're in an event and donors and guests have the opportunity to give, I want it to be joy-filled. I want them to leave with that contagious energy of, I was just a part of something that is more than myself.
Okay, first of all, that's wonderful. Second of all, who are these people that have a problem or think that there's a problem with this? And I hope they're still not your friends.
So I distinctly remember I was dating someone after college, and he said, well, my bestie said that you're just too happy all the time, that there's no way you can be that bright if you're happy all the time.
That's a weird thing to say to somebody.
Isn't it? I said,
Yeah.
let me reflect
I
on
think
that.
there's so much there.
Go on. No, get it.
I think that is just a reflection of people's own,
Insecurity.
It's
Absolutely.
insecurities of, I don't feel like that all the time. How does she possibly feel? It's got to be fake. How does she possibly feel like that all the time? But that's not, I think you go through things in life that you find that out of that. And so
Sure.
I love that you are bringing that to life and giving other people the opportunity that you may be, and in some aspects, those people are going through really hard times and you're showing them that this is what it can look like. It's what you make of it. So.
Well, thank you. And it's amazing to see that no matter what some of these organizations and clients are dealing with, it, they can feel that joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share that. I think that joy is something that's contagious and infectious, and when we bring it to the table, that it's hard to walk away unscathed. So maybe I just got under his skin a little bit because he didn't want to be happy.
Yeah.
or there's competition.
Yeah.
Right? Competition for attention, at least seemingly. Right? It's not real competition. Hence the insecurity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Insecurity part. So you worked in a lot of. I love cracking that nut open when we have guests on, just because it's fun. What you're doing is you're proving the non-linear path, right? Because that's an important thing to think about. No one ever dreams of being X, Y, or Z as a child.
No.
I know I didn't think I was going to be sitting behind a microphone like this as a child.
It's not bad though.
No, I love it. Like, I love what I do. I'm thankful for the opportunity to do it and call it a job or even be exhausted from it. Right. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that to get here, you literally went through a maze, right? And you maybe even had to sneak through some bushes at some point and crawl over a moat.
Yeah, run into some doors, whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. So I appreciate that, you sharing that. So in all of that, in your journey, as we talk about, pivot, what did you like? What are some of the things that you learned that have made you really good at what you do? And just give me maybe the top 3 things.
Sure. Well, I think that fundraising is one of those things, fundraising and development, that I don't think anybody as a child writes on their board,
Right.
But almost everyone who is really great at it that I've spoken with says, no, this isn't what I wanted to be when I grow up. It is called me. It found me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's true. I think that, when you're aligned in the path that is finally what you're created for, that sometimes it doesn't look like what you dreamt it would be, but you feel that imposter syndrome skinning off. You
Right.
feel at peace. You feel that joy that can be contagious because you're finally in the place where you were meant to be. And I think it's easy, particularly as women, for us to feel like we need to continue to strive. I know I think so many of my friends are at a pivot in their career chapter where we're trying to unlearn what was drilled into us, which is achieve, salary, title, more, and be a Pinterest mom, and all of those things. And it's okay. It's okay to change path. It's okay to not take that next step on the ladder. It's okay to take a step back, take a deep breath, and try to figure out what you need at this point in your life that allows you the freedom to bring your skill set into the room where it is most needed and you can function at your best self instead of chasing what's next. I think that has been really eye-opening for me and very freeing. And I think it's easy to not see that when you're blinded by the busy. So is it specific to my career? Absolutely not. But I think it's a big lesson, particularly for women in my age group.
Yeah, I agree. Like, what would? Well, I just looked at the clock. I was like, I better not ask this deep question. We got 1 minute left. I'm going to ask the question, but I want to give you a second to think about it. We'll take the break. What has been super helpful for you in that area of being able to pull back, right? Because the busyness, I joke with this with my wife, is that the busyness just finds her. She's like a magnet. So like, what does it look like to pull away from that, and what for you specifically? And don't answer that question. I know you want to, but we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
So give me 30 seconds. We'll be right back.
If you're a wellness or fitness pro looking for a space that truly fits the way you work, check out B2 Wellness Suites. With locations in Brentwood and Mount Juliet, B2 offers private suites, shared offices, and day rentals, all in a calm, welcoming environment designed for our industry. But it's more than just a space. It's a community of like-minded professionals who support, inspire, and grow together. Learn more at b2suites.com.
Now you can answer your question.
I forgot.
What was the question? Terry, can you bring us
That's the
back with
best.
that?
Can you
Repeat that
rephrase your
question.
Of course. In the world of busy, being a magnet for busy, and
Yes.
I don't know if this is a man versus woman thing or not. For me, in my experience, training a lot of women over the years, doing business coaching, being married for 25 years, like the busyness seems to find the women. So what does it look like to pull away from that and actually look at look at what's going on in your career or in your life from 30,000 feet for you specifically?
So I think that two things. One is creating intentional space, which is easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But I have found for me that I need to map out my days, and I need to schedule time to brainstorm, to pause, to get a facial, whatever that looks like for me in that particular week, to breathe. You know, when I'm preparing to go on stage for an event, sometimes it's taking the time to get a spray tan or get my nails done. But that I know is going to give me a few minutes to just reflect without also trying to mom and also answering emails and also working on clients, and to prepare myself mentally for walking into the space that I'm going to be in. So I think you have to schedule time for yourself, and you have to honor it, which is hard because things will creep in and try to steal that time. And even if it's, a 20-minute meditation, just putting that on your schedule and honoring it no matter what comes up and smacks you in the face, because stuff will.
Always.
And then the second thing is encouragement from friends and mentors. And I have been so pleasantly surprised on this journey about how many, particularly other women entrepreneurs, have been so willing to pour into me, to make introductions, to help connect, to share their favorite tips and tricks. And for them to say, this is going to feel strange. You might not be as busy as you want to be for the first few months. It's okay. You're growing. It's okay to have a shift in career. That happens 5 to 7 times for most women, or maybe it's most people in general. And for someone else who has walked this to say, it's okay. And to know that you're not alone in feeling that space, needing that space, it just makes you feel like you can do it. You can get through it. And that kind of encouragement is so, so valuable.
We talk about community all the time. Like it's always, I shouldn't say always, it's a missing element, especially in the entrepreneurial space. Outside of the other things that keep women busy in the sense of, their career, their kids, right? Those things are very, very important. But having community that is kind of related to what you're doing is where you're going to find some camaraderie. You're going to find some that support, right? That me too, right? Because everybody thinks that they're struggling alone.
Yeah.
The reality of the matter is that they're not.
No.
So, Vanessa, you look like you have a question.
No, I don't have a question. I'm so intrigued by everything you're saying. I love it so much. You're talking my language. I've got like all of these thoughts that I'm like, you're just going along. This is awesome.
Let's go.
So with, he asked about what things have contributed to your career now. How long have you had your business?
So just about 1.5 years.
Okay. And what were you doing? Were you still solely working for fundraising for a nonprofit at that point before you left to do this?
So I left the nonprofit sector as far as working for a nonprofit, and was working for a for-profit company where we supported 2 specific signature events.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
I was there for 7.5 years, and I started as a project manager, and then went to director of project management, and then vice president. And we supported hundreds of nonprofits all across the country. So I was on the road. I was traveling, between 20 and 30 times a year to different events all across the country. And it was so fun and really great when I was single. And then, and then when I got married and when I had my daughter, I was like, this is really hard to be on the road so much. And I loved it because I was exposed to some organizations, and particularly some missions that I wouldn't normally have been drawn to. And it really opened my eyes to all of the different unique organizations and clients and issues and missions that they serve in a special way, and how I had the capacity to fall in love with organizations that I couldn't necessarily relate with, but when their story was presented well, you can't help but want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that was really inspiring for this journey that I'm on, because I want to share that same experience with other people who are in the rooms with an organization that serves children with disabilities, even though they maybe not have walked that path personally, how I can help the organizations storytell and set up their auction and their giving moments for maximum success because of how you can relate to the people in the room for maybe the first time ever.
Yeah. And so that's what it looks like for what you do specifically, is they bring you in to specifically run their event or the auction side of it, the fundraising side of it for that particular event. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's a little more specific, but in particular, I am a benefit auctioneer. So what that looks like is for in-person, typically events. There is often one or two components where an auctioneer is involved. So usually the live auction, which is an auction for items. So it's going to be trips or dinners or signed whiskey bottles or something really fabulous and fun. And I'm going to get on stage and do a little bit of my fast talking and try to engage the audience in a really, really fun, high energy live auction.
Okay.
It's typically, 6 to 8 items, and we're gonna, go to the highest bidder. So the guests or the donors in the audience typically have bid cards and they're raising them up, and I'm trying to acknowledge those bids and drive them up to sell it for the highest amount I can that feels right for that audience, and then celebrate when we sell it for $10,000. Sold. So that one is, a lot of people are familiar with a live auction. And you can see it in some people are familiar with Sotheby's and an art auction, or they're thinking about an auto auction they went to with their grandfather. So all the different types of auctions are very nuanced. But when it comes to a benefit auction, our goal is to be fundraisers first. And that, I think, is really an interesting thing that I've learned. But getting back to the two parts, where an auctioneer and where I'm really focused right now, the other element is a fund a need or a paddle raise or a live appeal. It's got a couple different names, but that is where we are asking for a 100% donation for the mission. So it typically looks like a set amount. I like to start high and move down. So maybe we'll start at $5,000 and we'll move down in increments. And I'm asking the audience to put their bid pedal up just to give a 100% donation at that level.
Oh, okay.
And that can be a huge, huge differentiator for the success of an event, particularly for organizations who have not introduced an appeal or a fund a need before. But it can be scary because it can feel awkward. And a lot of organizations will say, well, I don't know if we have the audience, or I don't know if we, our donors have the capacity, or we're already asking for so much. But that moment alone can take, 10, 15 minutes longer if it's a bigger room, but it can be brief. It can be so powerful, and you can see that room move with generosity. That can be the part of an event where people leave and say, oh my gosh, I was just a part of something so incredible. I didn't anticipate it. I maybe gave more than I budgeted, but I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to tell my friends about it.
That's awesome.
Because
cool.
You've done something really, really special.
That's amazing. So you have been doing this for a year and a half. And so this is your first dip into entrepreneurship as a business owner. How's that been for you?
It has been wild and fun and terrifying. And,
yep, that sounds about right.
And some days it's all three in one. It's interesting.
It will continue to be that way, Ashlee. Just FYI.
That's what I've heard. Yes. But again,
you get better at it.
Is helpful.
That's 100% right.
Yeah. So at the end of my time with my previous company, we had a change in leadership, and it really changed everything within that organization. And I tried to stick around and be so committed to the teams that I was working with, so invested in those relationships. And ultimately, I was no longer a fit with the new leadership. And so they let me go December 6th after 7.5 years with no notice, no information.
Wow.
And I found myself in the middle of
right
December.
Before Christmas.
Yeah. I found myself saying, oh my gosh, what do I do? Fortunately, the seed for Champion of Joy had been planted in my heart a while ago. And so I already had an idea of what I wanted to do and how that would happen. What I didn't anticipate is that it would happen so quickly. I thought, okay, I already had, a basic business plan right now. I knew the name. I knew which direction I wanted to head. I'd already bought the URL. So I was like, okay, I've got a few things going on, but I'm like, I'm going to need to dive in. I got to get a website. I'm going to get, I need to get my promotional materials. I need to get my social started. I need to figure out what this looks like. And instead, over the week after that, I had so many friends that I had created through my last role reach out and say, congratulations, what's next for you? And I got to share, well, we're starting something new. Here's what I'm doing. I'm starting Champion of Joy. If you're looking for an auctioneer or you need some other support with your events, please let me know. And I got my first request for a contract in less than a week.
That's amazing.
Which was amazing.
That is amazing.
And
that was that alignment piece that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing. I could not even fathom. And it was surprisingly with the YWCA here in Nashville, and their director of development was taking some time after she had her second child, and they needed somebody to come in and help them run the event that I had run for 5 years. And so I got to step in and support their team and get on stage and do the fund need and set a record with raising that year we raised $184,000 in 15 minutes from stage.
Wow.
It's bananas, and it's so fun.
I bet that is fun.
And so I was really, really lucky. I think this was such a fascinating lesson for me too, because of course, in a situation like that, I had moments of, oh my gosh, have I failed? Have I failed completely? Is everything that I just invested and sacrificed for the last 7.5 years with this company, I missed weddings and birthdays and all sorts of things
on the
road.
One way or the other.
And was that a huge mistake? And did I stay longer than I should? And is this even what I'm supposed to be doing? All of those things. And instead of feeling like that time wasn't wasted, but wasn't going the way that I had planned or hoped, what I realized was the relationships and people and organizations that I had poured into, they felt the same way about me. And even though they stayed doing those events with my former company, they also felt like they couldn't do it without me.
Yeah.
And that is a huge compliment from a nonprofit to say, you know what, we're already investing here, but we believe in what you bring to the table so much. We didn't have it written in the budget. We don't know where it's going to come from, but we can't do this without you. We need you on our team. And for them to make that kind of commitment really gave me confidence in the first few months. And then I had some really successful events and things started rolling. And now, after getting to partner with a few of the teams that I had worked with previously, they are referring me to other teams. I'm able to build more of a network here in Nashville, which means I'm on the road less and I'm with my little one more, and I'm getting to do what I love for more organizations that I can see and feel their impact locally.
Alignment.
It's the best gift ever. So
that's awesome.
I have to say thank you for closing that door, because I smacked right into it and turned around, and now I have to say that even though this entrepreneurial journey is terrifying and hard, it is so much less stressful than being in the wrong role with the wrong people. So it's been such a gift.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to be forced out of our comfort zone.
Yeah. It sounds like a pivot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pivot.
Love it. I like how you sing that. I'm going to leave that alone. Leave it alone. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more. So stand by, guys. before the break, Vanessa asked you a very riveting question, and I'd like your answer.
No, she didn't.
Oh, dang it.
I was going to say, did I?
Sorry, I remember
I
that
don't
one.
think I did. Did I?
This one's sharp. I like it.
Yeah, that was good. He knew that was going to throw me.
Yes. It works so well.
He throws you for a loop, huh?
Deer
All
in the
the
headlights
time.
right
Is
there.
that part of your fun?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when it happens back to me, I get mad. So
Yeah.
there's
That seems right.
Yeah, that tracks. And all that. So in the time that you spent working with nonprofits,
Mhm.
I would love if you could, because we've been doing some philanthropy work, which is always a hard word to say.
It is.
We like to connect nonprofits and bring them together and collaborate on certain events. That's fun for us, and it's a good way for us to give back, and it fits our brand when it comes to making Middle Tennessee a healthier place.
Yeah.
So that said, all that context for you is how, in your experience, like, can you give some pointers for fundraising and for events for some of these nonprofits?
Absolutely. So I think that one of the biggest things to remember as you're planning an event is it can be for 50 people and it can be for 500, and you still have to think through all the details.
Yeah.
And that can be challenging because nonprofits run on, minimal staff when you're bringing a bunch of different organizations together or you're bringing somebody in from the outside. You need to think through all the details of what this experience is going to feel like for your donors, because they're not going to remember what they ate. They're not going to remember who was the best dressed. They're not going to remember if the venue was challenging. They might remember if ballet stinks. So I advise you think about that. But they will remember how that time made them feel.
Yeah.
And so it is so easy to think about timelines and get caught up in catering or what's the swag going to be? All of that is a recipe for success, surely. And when you have all of the right elements planned correctly, it can help create the best atmosphere for generosity and for joy. But ultimately, you don't want to lose sight that you want to tell your story. The opportunity to get in front of a captive audience and to share in a powerful way about what you do, who you serve, the problem that you're filling. And how their support can help make Middle Tennessee a healthier place. Don't be scared to do that.
Right.
It is your time to, and most people want to know how their time or their money is going to help things. So paint that picture for them. Do it in a way that is bold and unabashed. You don't want to make them feel awkward, but paint that picture.
Right.
Tell your story, and create an environment that helps them leave feeling emotional, joy-filled, hopeful for the future because of what so many incredible nonprofits are doing here in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, well said. Goodness. Did you guys write that down?
And if you need help doing that, you can call me.
I think that, so you consult in that space is what I'm.
I do, yes.
I'm picking up on that.
I do. And auctioneering is one aspect of what I do. All the teams that I'm working with right now, I am on their stage in some way. But I also get behind the scenes for teams who need a little bit more support.
Yeah.
If they're thinking about, they need help figuring out their run a show, I'll get on stage and MC if I need to, talking about just revenue generation overall, thinking about all the different ways and setting price points, ideas for that. So yeah, I get in as deep as some organizations want me to, and I've really been excited to do that more. Like I said, with some teams here in Middle Tennessee, I got to do the Power of the Purse with the Women's Fund earlier this year, which is where I met Shannon, who is fantastic and connected me with you guys, which is just another example of that incredible community.
Yeah.
And, that is a room full of powerful women who are supporting an incredible organization. But just as an example, the Power of the Purse has been happening for 30 years. Okay. It is a long-standing event, very well respected in Tennessee. But the Women's Fund has always been looking to cross some revenue thresholds. And last year, one of their chairs said, you know what, we need to switch this from a daytime luncheon event to a nighttime event where we can bring the live auction and fund a need element to the party. And so they did. And that was the catapult for changing their ability to grow their revenue and have a little bit more of that structured storytelling about the women's fund and about what they do with the dollars raised. And I got to be their auctioneer and conduct their fund of need and be behind the scenes helping consult on the event. And it was one of those nights where afterwards I just went, oh my gosh, I am so lucky to do what I do, to see that room light up, to see bid pedals up across the room, to watch a woman who had never gotten to have a nice bag get a steal in the silent auction and walk away so proud.
Oh, yeah.
And just all of the different organizations that the Women's Fund supports. And it would have been fun to go on stage and just do the auction, but it was really fun to be in the weeds with their incredible chairs. They have a fantastic advisory board, and to help them really create that event that has been so successful and so long-standing, but to give it a refresh and push it over the finish line even just a little further.
That's cool. So you're doing stuff. I mean, you're kind of doing stuff like similar to what we do. Like you're going in with the nonprofit and you're helping them. Like, hey, let's tell your, for lack of a better term, brand story, right? Having the audience and then obviously having the platform, where you're going to put those two things together and you're going to be as crystal clear as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And you know, some people get that wrong. So you're going in and clean, helping them clean that up, right?
Yes. Well, and you've probably seen this too, but it's interesting how much that can be on the back burner. You know, when you're thinking about logistics and events are hard. They are a time suck for staff. There are a lot of things to think about. Nothing is cheap, you know, anywhere right now. Boy,
don't we know it.
But particularly in Nashville, and you're balancing, you know, trying to provide an experience while trying to have enough space to raise the money. And it is easy to focus on the marketing, getting the guests there, getting the auction items solicited, finding the food and beverage, and then to wake up and say, oh, well, we're just going to, you know, play the same video from 2 years ago for the mission moment. No, we can't do that.
Everything matters, especially on that.
That is the most important thing, right? And it's easy to lose sight of that, but that can be the difference maker. And then how you position that ask, right? And that is one of my favorite things to coach teams on is how do we structure the mission moment? How do we structure the run of show? How do we take the energy from the cocktail party into the beginning, into the, you know, talk about the logistics that we have to cover? And there's a recipe for that. And it's not rocket science, but it is so important. And it is important to get it right because that can change how people feel during that moment, how generous they feel.
The execution is key.
It is. Yeah. It is. And even you can have the run of show right and not have the right AV or not have, you know, a stage manager who's helping you facilitate that. Or there are so many pieces to think about. But, you know, not losing sight of the storytelling is huge because that is your biggest opportunity almost always outside of sponsorship growth, which we all know is really, really challenging right now. To make up a big difference. I mean, you get, you know, 3 more gifts at $2,500. That maybe means a new facility. That maybe means a new program launch. That can be such a game changer. And if you have the right people in the room and you set yourself up for success by telling your story in a way that's authentic to your organization, it can make magic.
That's my favorite part of my job.
Oh, it's the best.
It's the story part, yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite moment like that?
Oh, geez, don't put me on the spot.
Oh, come on.
You got to do it right before it breaks. So
okay, sorry. All right, well, think about it. We'll come back to you.
Who's running this show?
I'm curious, too.
This is literally what she does, Terry.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So in the world of events, so we just came off of our Music City Fit Expo, and all those things are exactly true, right? Like, the space is expensive. The people don't see behind the curtain of the dollars and cents and how... what it takes to put on something, you know, 1, that you can execute, and then 2, that actually sets the table for, you know, the energy or inspiration, or you know, on a lot of levels, just business to happen, right, or networking to happen. That stuff's difficult, and if you don't go into it with the right mindset, it's not going to translate.
No. And I think that's such a fascinating thing because you're right. It's true for nonprofits. It's true for business. It is so much about setting the tone, setting the energy, setting the intention in the room. And every decision should be made with that goal in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
How is that pressure for you? How do you take that on with each nonprofit that you work for? You talked about the gratification of being able to be successful with that. How is that pressure for you? How do you manage that or take that on or keep that in perspective when you're working with particular nonprofits and trying to achieve those goals?
I mean, I think the pressure is part of what drives me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I of course want to meet or exceed the goals, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's reality. That is a precarious, economy where people aren't as confident as they used to be, and there may not be as much extra money. And so part of it is setting real expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has to be a conversation where we're talking through budget and we're talking through trends. And that's an advantage of what benefit auctioneers get to do is see that. Like, I see what's happening at events across the country with which auction items are selling well, or which ones we should stay away from, or is the auction up, or is the fund a need up, or where is the sweet spot, or how do we need to adjust? And so bringing in that data and information and experience from other organizations to that one organization who just has their data points can be very helpful. And it's aligning expectations in advance. Now, that doesn't mean that we get to change their budget, right? But we can say, right now, live auctions are down because people don't want to travel as much, or really right now, international travel that people can get a steal on, it's great. So bringing that information, saying we might see a dip in live auction, but let's position ourselves for a growth in the fund and need, and preparing that in advance. And having those conversations, I think that there are some people who could pop in, come on stage, do the auction, and they're going to just absolutely crush it because it's what they do all the time. I know for me, like, I want to get to know the organization. I want to be able to speak to their work and their mission and their language so authentically that I have people ask me, oh, how long have you been working for insert nonprofit here? Yeah. That to me is the biggest compliment, because that means that it felt right.
Exactly.
And so I think preparing yourself as an auctioneer and event support to be very engrossed in their work is part of the key in setting yourself up for success and not feeling so much pressure, because I know that it's going to seep out of my veins, and what is going to come out of me is real for that organization.
Yeah. Well, and I think that translates to any kind of business you're doing, with setting expectations appropriately for your clients and what you're doing and what your capabilities are, so that you can relieve some of that pressure in them coming back and having expectations that are above what you're trying to do, or that it may not look like exactly what they had hoped for. So with the organizations that you work with, how long do you work with them for each auction? Do they bring you in just for the particular event, or do they bring you in well in advance of that to work with them for a while so you can get to know them?
It depends a little bit on the needs of the organization. Most often I am working with teams that I'm doing my longer term consulting with about a year to 8 months in advance.
Oh, okay.
So I can be very, very engrossed there. For teams where I'm just coming in for the auction, those partners, I have, start calls with them usually about 6 months out, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then I've had teams who've called and said, hey, we need somebody in 6 weeks. Can you do it? Mm-hmm. And we'll just kind of action pack everything that I tried to do in advance in that short amount of time. But I really love to get in the groove at about the 6 month out mark. And part of my contract for auctioneering is the event day services, but a few consulting hours where I'm on the phone with the team. I'm getting to know their staff. I'm getting to know that mission. We're talking about all the event elements. We're talking through, what their goals are and everything, so that I can really be familiar and work through guiding them on that process, so that auction piece is as successful as it could be.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to take a break here in a moment, but I'm getting better. I want to find out when we come back how you promote yourself for this, promote your services. Maybe it's well known in the nonprofit space. Maybe this is something that it's more unique to you. So I'd like to find out about your journey with promoting yourself with that when we come back after this break. before the break, I was asking you about how you promote yourself. Maybe your role is a well-known role in the nonprofit space. Maybe it's not. How does that look in the space, and how have you promoted yourself?
And you did ask that question before, so thank you for the
Yeah.
reminder. It's interesting. I thought when I first started this, that was going to need to be my focus, and then it didn't end up having to be, and I was able to work with some of my previous partners, and now I've gotten so many fantastic referrals.
Okay.
That is the best thing for an auctioneer. Either someone seeing me at another event or being referred to me by a fellow nonprofit leader is the best thing. I have some work to do on my marketing. I tell you what, I can get on stage and sell you anything, but selling myself is a different challenge.
Hey, we understand that.
So that's an area where I'm learning. I'm right now working on my social strategy and trying to do a little better job of pinpointing which events or organizations I want to get in front of. But right now, the biggest source for me has been those kind words, referrals, and for people seeing me on stage.
That's great. Do you have visions of have you thought that far in advance yet? Do you have visions of expanding your business and growing this?
Yes, I would love to. I am right now, feeling everything out and seeing what my personal capacity is. But I have probably room for 3 to 4 more events for fall. And then I'm already booking for 2028, which is so exciting.
Wow.
But there's going to be a point where, there's only so many dates on the calendar, and events are so pertinent to the school year, right? There's only so many times. So I have some folks that I've worked with before that I would eventually love to talk to about learning the Champion of Joy Auctioneer way and expanding my team. My husband right now is my ringman and unpaid COO. So he's great on a microphone too, though. So it might be a husband-wife duo at some point on stage. Yeah.
That's great. And how has that been with you starting your own business? Did he jump right in?
Oh my gosh, he has been my biggest cheerleader, an incredible supporter. He's been late nights with me working on contracts and coming to events, helping, wherever he can. He helps spot my bids, which is amazing. He looks really good in a suit and tie, so it works. And then occasionally, though, I've learned I have to be hard pressed to give him a bid paddle, because when I get on stage in particular, I'm asking for, $5,000, $2,500, $1,000. And I'm like, I know that face, honey. You're giving away the money that I made.
Don't raise that paddle.
But I love it. So,
that means he has heart.
He does. So you really do get a team, even though he's not on the payroll.
Or it's working really well and he can't resist. I just have a way with words. I got a bid.
I don't even know what I'm bidding on.
Yeah.
It's a yes. He's my test subject.
I got to know, inside secrets to the auction, what is the best selling item that you've seen at an auction?
Ooh, it depends on the crowd, honestly. I got to sell a insider's trip to Tiffany & Company in New York.
Wow.
Where you got to help design a piece of jewelry. That was very cool and sold well. I got to sell an experience at an event in Miami for going to Fashion Week in Milan and then going to the Missoni Fashion House with the family. That was really cool.
I have to know.
Like,
can you
who's
reveal how much
donating
that
those things?
went for?
I believe it went for about $25,000.
I would suspect, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, there's some that go for so much more. I thought that one was really interesting. But so often it's trips, it's unique experiences, it's things that the organization can get. And that's the hard part, right? Is what can you
That's
get
what I'm over
your
here
hands
thinking.
on?
Yeah, like how do they
secure that? Yeah.
That's cool.
I think a trick that benefit auctioneers can use, which can be fascinating, is the ability to sell consignment auction trips, which that word can make people kind of a little bit, it sounds weird. But there are companies, and I partner with several of them, where they provide a great trip that they organize, and you can purchase as a nonprofit for, a lower price. And then an auctioneer can sell it multiple times. And that is where you can really kind of hit the gravy with revenue sometimes. If there's a trip that the nonprofit price is $2,000, but I can sell it for $5,000, $5,500, $7,500 and sell it 10 or 11 times, you're really hitting the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's a little more palatable for more people. There are the auctions where you have really, really incredible lots that can sell for $100,000, but those are few and far between.
You have to have somebody who will buy it for
Exactly.
There it is,
Well,
yeah.
and the organization has to have the ability to network and solicit it.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about teams who really want to make some money but may not have those kind of relationships, that's a really fun trick.
That's really cool. Yeah. I want to go to Milan. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I'd be the guy that picked the fashion one for sure.
It was cool. It was good. They did a Missoni fashion show too, so that was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good times. Those are, it's helpful insights. Like, my wheels are turning as I'm listening to you, as I'm
Same.
thinking about, because we're in the process of positioning a side of our, arm of what we do to have a community donation fund. I know I said it wrong. A DAF.
Donor fund,
Yeah.
donor.
We're trying to put together a donor
fund.
fund so that we can actually start doing more of the work that we like to do. And we're positioning ourselves to do that. So, fundraising and getting into that space a little bit, probably won't do a ton. We're going to operate a little bit more like the Tom's model, right? Like a portion of what people use to pay us for advertising, we're going to set aside in this fund to do some of this philanthropy work throughout the stuff that we believe in, right? So yeah, it's my wheels are definitely turning. I'm like learning and listening and learning at the same time here. So
Well, it is so important, particularly for, there's a lot of great nonprofits, but the for-profits who are willing to create an arm, a foundation arm, a DAF opportunity is huge because, the ability to be flexible without, if you're not doing direct service, but you're able to support organizations that need that kind of flexible income, again, is a game changer.
Well, we get in a position of like, we work with nonprofits because we are a media arm. So we'll get a PR press release, or we'll get someone hitting us up saying, "Hey, could you sponsor? Could you donate?" And I was like, "I can't. We're not really set up to do that. We run lean, but we can do an in-kind trade. We'll give you all the marketing that you need."
That's huge too.
And they're generally pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
But and me wanting to do more, right? Like, help them where it matters so they can continue to do their work is with that. I think it's going to be with that DAF fund for sure.
Well, and marketing for nonprofits is hard because they often either don't have marketing staff, or they're focused, or they're running on such a tight budget that those kind of in-kind partnerships, or somebody who just has, the marketing experience to be able to help them get in front, either their event or their organization, just in front of more people, is a huge, huge gift.
This is me bringing it full circle to answer the question that you asked me and put me on the spot.
I see what you did there.
That is my favorite thing, is telling the stories of the nonprofits. I love telling business stories. I love learning and understanding the entrepreneurial spirit and what people have had to go through in order to get where they're at. But with the nonprofits, like where the boots hit the ground, they're too busy. They're so engulfed in what they're doing. They don't get a chance to tell their story. And when they don't get a chance to do that, they don't get a chance to collaborate. And people don't know they're there. And that, if we can do that, by all means, I want to do that.
And it's fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's it's you giving people an audience. We love doing that stuff for sure. So, all right, start again. We're winding the show down. That sounded like a rewind. Well, we want to give you a chance to pitch and let everybody know where they can find you and how they can get a hold of your services.
Sure. So I would love for you to find me at championofjoy.com. You can follow me on socials. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Champion of Joy. My name is Ashlee Meier, and I am available for your benefit fundraising, event consulting, and auctioneer needs. And I feel like you need a little bit of fast talking before we go.
I 100% want you to do that. I want you to just run back everything you just said, but do it in Auctioneer and go.
Well, so this is my favorite. So when you go to Auctioneer school, you have to do these tongue twisters, and you have to do an oral exam to check out and make sure you talk fast enough. And so this is the one that my daughter loves and wants to do with me all the time.
All right.
Betty bought some butter, but she said this butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So just better, Betty bought a bit of butter.
That's insane.
Did you got that?
Most of it.
Terry, 3, 2, 1, go.
What I heard behind there was we need a beat because that's the fastest rapper alive right here.
I do that sometimes, actually.
We literally just found where the industries cross. Right there.
We're gonna put all of it together.
Album drops in July, so stay tuned over here.
Champion of Joy.
Champion of Joy out. That was awesome. All right, guys. If you found this at all entertaining, I guess, and insightful, please share it with your friends. Like and subscribe. Make sure you go follow Ashlee. Info's in the show notes. And we appreciate you tuning in. We couldn't do it without you. And we'll catch you on the next one.